So last year I made a short film called Beautiful Place, and it was a big step up in every department: directing, cinematography, but especially the writing. But I didn't start out with good writing from the jump. It took a lot of hard work. I wanted to take a look today at the first draft of my short film and compare it to the final draft. And I have 4 things to go over that made a huge improvement in my writing. First things first though, I left the link to go watch the short film in the description, so go do that first. But if you're not going to do that, here's a little synopsis of the story. Beautiful Place is about a character named Nathan who is a telemarketer, and he hates his job, he doesn't like where he lives, and he dreams of going to Hawaii, but he doesn't have any money. So one day his boss offers $1,000 to whoever can sell the most by the end of the week, and this sets the story in motion. Just for reference, it took about 5 drafts to get to the final. All right, number 1, first things first, you got to send that baby out to someone. This can be the hardest step. It definitely was for me. But the thing is, you got to have fresh eyes on it. It's almost impossible to be objective with your own writing, especially once you get to a certain point. You've been picking at it, you've been splitting your hairs over it. You got to have some fresh eyes so they can see the things you can't see. Now, you don't have to take all the advice someone gives you. They're going to give you some things that are really helpful, and they'll probably give you some things that you don't think will help. But that's the great part about sharing with someone, is you don't have to do everything they say. So take the things that you think will benefit your scripts and then leave the rest. This is tip number 1 because it is so important. This really is the only way to learn. You got to share it with someone. And the rest of the tips I'm going to share are tips that my mentor gave to me about my first draft, which ended up being in the final draft. All right, tip number 2. Make sure you got a fierce antagonist. And I don't mean they have to be mean or an asshole. They just have to be in clear opposition to your protagonist. All right, so an example from my first draft of how I didn't do this is, you can see up here, the boss says, "I wanted to get you all together real quick to let you know something. We came in under budget this quarter and I have 1 bonus to give out. I'm thinking whoever has the highest numbers by the end of the week gets it. Sound good?" Nathan perks up. He unmutes himself. "How much is the bonus?" "About $1,000, I believe. If any of you have any more questions, let me know. Good luck, guys. Bye." It's kind of boring. He is not clearly helping Nathan. He's also clearly not against Nathan. And it just leads to a lack of tension, a lack of conflict. No bueno. All right, so now the example from the final draft. We can't really tell if the boss is a friend or foe at first. He goes, "Nathan, how are you?" Nathan says, "I'm good." And he talks about Nathan's numbers, and he's kind of being a little condescending here. He's not completely an asshole yet, but we're kind of getting there. We're building up. And then we have a moment down here where he tells Nathan that he should act like Leonard, who is another character we never see in the film, but we hear about him. And Nathan obviously is not a fan of Leonard, and his boss telling him he should be more like Leonard really pisses him off. And then we have a moment here where we really see the true nature of the boss. He presses a key on his computer thinking he muted himself on the Zoom call, but he really didn't. He hit a wrong key. And he says, "What's that?" "Yeah, I'm talking to Nathan. Yeah, he's a lazy piece of shit. I don't think I've met someone with less charisma in my life. But did you see Leonard's quarter? I mean, the guy is amazing." So now we can obviously see that the boss is against Nathan. It's a funny moment, but it also creates tension between Nathan and the boss. So by putting the boss in clear opposition to Nathan, we add a lot more tension. It creates a funny moment, and it also just adds a lot more conflict into the story, which is necessary. Conflict is what drives stories forward. All right, tip number 3 is withhold information from your audience. Withholding information is a great way to create tension. The moment where Nathan finds out if he won the money or not is a huge moment in the story. And in the first draft, it falls completely flat. So as you can see here, the boss says, "Hey everyone, hope you all had a good day. You all killed it this week. Really good work. I wish I could give everyone that bonus. Hopefully I can give more soon, but 1 person set a company record this week, which is super exciting." The boss pauses for a beat. The tension is palpable. "Kelly, great job. You earned it. And everyone else, Nathan, I saw the hard work you put in. But that's all I have for you guys. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll catch up with you guys on Monday." You see, this also comes back to the boss is just way too nice. He's not in opposition to Nathan. It gets rid of a lot of conflict and tension. Now, looking at the final draft, you can see a huge change where we withhold the information of who actually won the bonus. The boss says, "Hey everyone, thanks for hopping on the call. It's been a long week and I know you're all antsy to find out who won the bonus, so I'll just say it. Actually, first, make sure we're all organizing ourselves correctly after we make them, okay? I get a little when I see it done wrong. Yeah. Anyways, after a stellar week and some seriously impressive numbers, congratulations to... And then we cut away. And this next part is really important too, because this next scene still doesn't make it clear if he won or not. It says the snorkel lies on his bed next to the suitcase. He places it in the suitcase and then zips it up. So I'm withholding the information that Nathan lost the bonus to the audience, and I'm actually going to subvert their expectations as well. By adding this little scene here, it leads the audience to believe, wait, maybe he did win. And then it creates even more tension until finally, and this part's actually different, I had him throw it away in a dumpster bin, where he walks into a dumpster room and throws it in a trash bin. And it makes the sequence so much better. We add a lot of tension. It gives the audience room to lean into the story a bit more. They can actually engage with it, and they think that they're a step ahead, but really I'm 2 steps ahead, and then I pull the rug out from under them and show them what really happened. So we also add a little bit of comedy too in here. We bring back Leonard, which implies that Leonard won the bonus, and so we're adding more tension, more conflict, and also a bit more humor. So withholding information is crucial in the right moments. All right, and tip number 5 is to improvise when you're making your short film. As you can see on the first draft, this is the voiceover here, and it's different from the voiceover on the final draft. But I didn't use the voiceover dialogue that you see here in the final version of the short film. I rewatched it when I was editing and kind of just made me cringe. I just didn't like it. It was the one part of the short where I found myself disengaging and just not enjoying it. And so I went back, and luckily, you're not going to have the opportunity to change something as pivotal as this all the time. If you have voiceover, what's great about it is you can go back and change it later, which is what I did here. It made it a lot better. Go watch the short film so you can see the difference. I think it's a lot more natural, and overall makes the story much better and makes Nathan more of a believable character. Now, coming back to where we were with the last tip, I have Nathan driving over the suitcase to let the audience know that he did not, in fact, win the bonus and that Leonard did. But I changed this again. It was going to be too hard to film. It just really wasn't feasible. So I called an audible and had him throw it into a dumpster bin. Worked just the same, if not better, in my opinion. So don't be afraid to switch things up in the moment. Follow your intuition. That's the best tool you have. It won't always be the right option, but from what I've found, whenever I go with my gut feeling, it always ends up, it almost always usually ends up going better. All right, now here's an extra tip, because now that I'm looking at both the first and final draft side by side, I'm noticing something in the end that's interesting. The ending that I originally wrote was shot, and that's how I kept it, but you can see there's a difference in the structure of the writing. Is a lot more blocky on the left side. It's not too blocky, but it's definitely more blocky than the final draft over here. And my mentor recommended structuring it this way. I gave him an RTF file, rich text format, for those of you who don't know. Basically, you can send a document to someone and they can edit the document. I didn't know that was a thing until he wanted me to give it to him so he could restructure this ending bit. So this was him doing it, and it reads a lot smoother. You can feel the beats as you're reading it, and so it makes for just a much better reading experience. So think about maybe if you have too much writing in blocks like this, see if you can break it up a little bit, if that makes sense. All right, and that's it. Good luck on finishing your scripts, and be brave. Send that shit to someone.